What's going on, man? How are you doing? You're the first one in here today. Is the audio working? Are you able to pick me up, right? So what's big with you? How you been? What have you been up to? Well, honestly, man, if you only have a 10-minute break, I wouldn't even hang out. Go get some fluids. Push some fluids. It's hot as fuck everywhere. I know a lot of times on my breaks, I'll sit there and I'll start answering emails and shit, and man, just take that 10 minutes to yourself. Shut your eyes. Do some deep breathing. I'm glad everything's good with you. And that heat is just atrocious. Way too hot. There you go. Time to put it to work. Time to put that thing to work. Summer is short, so you gotta capitalize on that. Well, I appreciate it. I'm glad you popped in, man. Yeah. So. Nothing's really new here, same old. Trying to make sure my watch hours stay up, and I don't really need to. I looked at them. I'm at like 97,000 watch hours, so I'm sitting fine on watch hours. But I have, last month and a half we were super busy. We had big matches, some big trips, so I didn't do really any lives. One here, one there, whatever, but my goal was Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday this week I'd do a live for a couple hours, just to keep things moving. But sometimes it's like a chore. You gotta do it. There you go. We had two caterpillars when I was growing up. I don't remember what ones they were. They were big. The watch hours are for your monetization. So to be fully monetized, you have to maintain 4,000 watch hours. So your watch hours fall off year to date, but it is what it is. YouTube is really like making a push. They want people to do lives, which is, I don't know. It's okay. I don't mind it sometimes, especially when we get to just chat with people. But I mean, a lot of times it's time consuming, So, but it's always cool to have a chance to chat with people and joke around and bullshit. When I was a kid, we were pulling wood out of the woods we had, and the Caterpillar ran out of diesel fuel, and so a couple days later, it was in like November, so it was cold. A couple days later, we went down there, with some diesel fuel. bled the lines, got it fired up, but it was cold enough the hydraulics didn't want to work. You get the bucket to go up and down, but the tracks didn't want to go. An old, there you go. And so the stepdad, being brilliant, he lifted it, you know, pushed the bucket down, so lifted the front of the cat up, and we had one of the gas burner torches, and he wanted me to put it under the belly pan to warm up the hydraulics, but it wouldn't hold it up, so it kept bleeding down. And she's like, well, put some wood under the track. So I'm pounding this wood under the track, and my fucking hand slipped and I hit it on the fucking steel track. My finger's still deformed to this day. I don't know why that mattered, other than you have a cat. But they're cool. You like Browning GP35? Browning, they're alright. But yeah, you're pretty busy. Caterpillars run forever too. They're good machines. My stepdad had a machine shop, so he would buy shit like that would be fucked up, and he'd make the shit, and we'd have it for a few years, and then sell it. I haven't cracked a hydraulic pump in half before because oil was too thick, and it was so cold I ran a lever and cracked the pump. Yeah. So, you know, up until that moment, I didn't even. I mean, I was a kid. I was 14. I would have never thought that was an issue, but evidently it was. And you know, I'll never forget. You got this skid pan underneath the cat. It's full of oil. You know, fluids are dripping out of it. And here you are putting the propane weed burner torch under it, heating it up. I mean, I'm like, this thing's gonna start on fire. It never started on fire. In France, we call it GP35. I assume you're talking about the high power, so I knew what you were talking about. You know, that's one of John Browning's last designs on a handgun, man. You know, the dude was a living legend. You know, he's designed more firearms than anybody else, and they're all functional. They work, and they're still being used. You know, well after he's gone. Oh yeah, I have 40,000 hours on a few of my logging equipment. 2 engine rebuilds. One has a different engine. Yeah. Caterpillars are cool. I mean, obviously I live in the city, so I don't have a use for one, but it was a cool thing to have on the farm. It was cool for pulling logs out. I mean, there wasn't no, you know, cutting it down to manageable lengths. You drop the tree, wrap a couple log chains on it, and you wrap a couple at a time. You do, you know, 3-4 logs at a time and fucking pull them up to the farm, you know. My favorite pistol is the Barrett 92, bro. Well, there's one on the table, man. So, yeah, now I switched my oil to very thin in the winter, and I have Pro Heats that heat the cooling up on the engine starts. Yeah, we had them too, where they just go in the line for the coolant antifreeze. And you just plug it in, just a little 110 volt pump and heater, right? I assume that's what it is. That's what we had. We had them on the, you know, the Oliver. We had it on the case. We had it on, you know, the Minneapolis Moline. We had it on the Cats. Cable skin. Yeah. That stuff's cool. You know, it's amazing. And I shouldn't say it like this because I haven't seen brand new versions, but, you know, that old shit, man, it lasted forever. You know, and Cats are built. I mean, they build them to last. I wish I wish I actually knew right now what size them were. Uh, I said one was huge and the other one wasn't. But, you know, you and I both know it makes you feel like a little kid when you're out there moving dirt, right? That's part of the fun about growing up, is getting to play with that stuff. Thinking about buying a North American Arms for S&G. Yeah, that's the only reason I own it. It's a blast. If you do buy one, what I would recommend is buy some tracers for it, because you ain't never seen no shit like that. It's funny as hell. Oh yeah, Cat is one of the only companies around nowadays that still makes stuff to last. I don't know if it will go 100 years, but 50 for sure. Absolutely. Mason, how are you doing? I'm good. Hot. APM auto. Awesome that you have top fans thing out. Yeah. So, guys, make sure you comment away, get your emojis, and then use them. Half empty, what's going on? You guys stay cool today? Drinking fluids, I hope. Oh yeah, ha ha ha. It's like I'm a little kid in a big toy pushing dirt sometimes. I go and drive it just for the hell of it. Hell yeah, I would too. That shit's fun. You know, as a kid, you know, I always drove tractors and shit. It was fun. I don't give a shit what anybody says, you know. Sore shoulder today, so not much. Did you just overwork it or sleep on it, or, you know, a lot of people, you get sore shoulders and sore necks from being dehydrated. Your blood vessels, I mean, going into your neck are, you know, obviously some of the bigger blood vessels, and when they start getting restricted because you get dehydrated, you think it's your shoulder just being sore, and it's a sign of dehydration. You must own an MG338. I don't know what an MG338 is. Driving big equipment is always cool. Yeah, fuck yeah, it is. So, I conceal carry. So you guys, you're all here. This guy started talking shit to me earlier, which is funny, and he thinks I'm butthurt. So let's have this conversation, conceal carry. Go ahead, tell us all about it. Exactly, even if you're not working, you're still learning in any equipment like tractors. Fuck yeah, it's a blast, you know. Obviously, we never ran, you know, any of this modern shit that's got GPS and stuff. So you were driving it. You were feeling the hydraulics. You know, it was different. It was, you know, being kind of one with shit. You know. Yeah. Oh, the dude, he decided to come on and start talking shit. How I better never. What did he say? What did you say? Say it again. I conceal carry. I guess. We'll let you say it. I hate automatic clutch pedals. Yeah, I agree. Self-center steering too, yeah. I've never driven anything with self-center steer. With the rear steer, I guess I shouldn't say that, because like some of the stuff they have the rear steer on it, so you can crab walk it and do crazy shit. And that'll self-center if it's activated. Hi buddy, I got to get back to work again. If you're on later, I will join back. I don't know how late I'm gonna be on. Probably like 2 hours. It's been kind of the trend all week, is like 2 hours. So everyone at my agriculture program thought we were farming in the Stone Ages because we don't have auto steer. Really? My father-in-law, I mean, he's got all that shit, all GPS. I mean, all he's really got to do is kind of sit there from what he says. Not like when I was a kid. We'll see you later, Sloaner. You have a good day, man. Stay cool, drink some fluids. Don't break shit. Nando 602, I recently got... Oh, fuck, I lost your comment, man. 1 second. Yeah, our equipment is articulated, the logging equipment. There you go. Lost the... I recently got a Glock 21 Gen 4. I almost went with the Glock 30. Glock 21's alright. There's that Desert Eagle. Yep, there it is. Did you go to Appleton or did you go to one of the satellite classes? Or the satellite schools? Nick Guns and Range, how do you like the Ruger Wrangler you got there? Also, have you got the interchangeable cylinder? So the Wranglers I don't think have the interchangeable cylinders. The Ruger Single 6 convertible, which I have, they do. I like that gun. I mean, it's just like it's an expensive gun. The Ruger Wranglers I have, obviously two different colors. One's my daughter's and one's my son. And they love them. I mean, they have just a blast sitting there shooting them. But there's a lot to keep you going, you know, between single action, cocking it right each shot, and then the fact you load, you know, each round in the cylinder, rotate the cylinder, then manually eject them. It keeps kids entertained for hours. Twisted Gun Show, what's going on, man? How are you doing? You staying cool, staying hydrated? 8 p.m. I need to get myself out for some range time soon. Planning on saving up for a new purchase for myself for likely Christmas. I'm not sure what I want though. There's always a lot of options. I have a hard time picking what I ever want, but I do the same thing now. Like, you know, my wife and kids, you know, and my sister, my mom used to, they'd always buy me stuff for Christmas, you know, and I started telling them all, and I still do. I will buy my own Christmas present for me. You guys take that money and you spend it on somebody else, or spend it on yourselves. I will buy my own Christmas present. And I do. Every year I buy myself a nice gun. That's the only one I usually buy that the wife has nothing to say about. So I kind of want to try to replace my 870 if I can find one. You want a new 870? That's what I said. I had to find the comment. Explain. Explain, I conceal carry. I sold the last year to get my truck. I sold it last year. Oh, to get your truck. Well, 870s, they're available. That's the good thing about 870s. You know, there's a million of them out there, and they're affordable. You know, I would take an old school Remington Magnum Express over, you know, Mossberg, right? And there's infinite number of parts. I like to get something used locally. Store usually has some around. I'm a sucker for going in stores on the used gun shelf. That's generally the first place I go when I go in any gun stores. Right to the used counter. Ammo, how are you doing? View the upper comment. That's what I said. I read your comment. You came on there and started talking trash to me, and then tried to support it, saying you were trying to prove my, what'd you say, lack of intelligence. Let's face it, dude. You think you have something to prove. You saw a video. You're a little jealous. And rather than saying, hey, cool gun or whatever, you want to trash talk. Make yourself feel a little better. That's all right, man. Whatever you got to do to Colt, you're cool. You guys have a good day. All right, Nick's Guns, you have a good day. Yukon Bob, how are you doing? I mean, I think most of you guys been here every day this week. I appreciate your support. I've seen one with a slug barrel and smoothbore front of 350. Yeah, they're absolutely. First place I go tonight, they used, yeah, I love it. Massimo, yes, there's a Colt up there. The furniture, want both barrels, yeah, that I had was branded new. Yeah, it's nice to get the rifled slug barrels. You know, a lot of times you can get that, the combo guns, and they're not expensive. No Beretta APX. Yes, I have AK-47s. I actually have a real AK-47, not an AKM. But I do have AKMs. I have some RPKs. Spartan YouTube, homie, what's the Beretta in the front? It's actually a Beretta clone. It's a Gersan MC Deluxe. Jealous of the orange CZs. Orange CZs are nice. The store that I bought them from, and I've had them for a few years now, they want me to sell them back to them. At a profit, big profit, but we use them. I'm not gonna sell my tools. I'm not gonna lie. When they told me what they wanted to give me, it was very, very tempting. It is still pretty tempting. I could sell two of them and buy a nice 2011. My father thumbs messed up my messages. There you go. Mine do it too, man. I always forget an N and. and so on. A friend of mine has a Saiga 308, has trigger job done almost dangerously light. Did he do the conversion work on it, or is it still got the hunting buttstock on it? But I remember, man, when them were being able to be imported, they were cheap. You know, I wish I would have bought them. I bought my Saiga 12 though, so at least I did that right. Sweet dude, would love to see the AK collection. Yeah, another time, another live. I show them every once in a while. Check the channel, you'll see them somewhere in there. It's probably pulling out. As long as you keep that tight, it's probably fine. But I bet you can bump fire that pretty easily. Thinking about diving into the world of AKs. Yeah, just know AKs are not AR-15s. I don't mean better or worse, just parts compatibility. They are not the same. And they are not, from gun to gun, they're not all manufactured the same. So you have to be aware of what you're buying and what you're kind of looking at. Alright, Mason, we'll catch you later. Go make that money. Revolver. Look, no, sorry, I'm Italian. I don't know what you mean about Revolver. There's 3 of them up there. He got his crazy cheap, like 300 or less. I can't remember exactly, but I think it was original stock. The original, you know, Remington 870 wood stocks are badass. I have that little Remington TAC 14, and I've been looking when we go to gun shows for just a old wood foregrip for it. That'd be pretty killer. I had a Saiga 12 on layaway at a small gun shop. Then out of the blue, they went under. It was a loss all the way around. Yeah, I'm glad I bought my Saiga when I did. It's a gun, so you know you're not going hunting with it. You're not going clay bird shooting or anything. But for like 3-gun, it was the shit. But I kind of quit shooting 3-gun years ago, so it's just been sitting here. We're supposed to have a shotgun this match. I don't know if I'm going to shoot it. It's a USPSA style shotgun match, so rather than using pistols, it's all shotgun. That's why we busted it out of the safe when we were running it. He got it from some random guy years back. He didn't own a rifle at the time. Guy was probably hating himself later, as Ishmish stamped on the side. Yep, all the Saigas do. Mine does too. That's a real deal. It's not. It's a real deal. That's the plant. You know, it doesn't get any more genuine than an Ishmish manufactured Saiga. You know, the Vepers too, right? You speak Italian? No, man, I don't speak Italian. I'm sorry. My buddy rocks a Saiga 12 for waterfall. That thing's a beast, 18-inch barrel with extended choke tubes. I never bought the choke tubes for it because they're externally threaded. I have a brake on it, and I think I'm going to order a comp. I should have ordered a comp years ago, but they are awesome. I don't know if it's possible to empty the mag without having a bigger. No, that's a given. That's definitely a given. Yeah, there's 2 1911s up there, man. They're the stainless ones. What are they? 3rd down on both sides. I would have liked to have gotten, of course, the 308, but even the 7.62x39 that was in the sporter configuration, then I've done the conversion on it. Them are, I mean, they go for big money now. At the time, they were cheap. That thing reaches just as far as my 28 barrel with Pattern Master on the 870 mag. Yeah, I don't know. Like I said, I never had choke tubes for it. I don't know. I suppose you could, right? The only thing I used it for, so like with the 3-gun competition, you shoot steel, it'll fall down, it'll throw a clay bird straight up. It's not like, you know, shooting sporting clays or something, but it just pops them up. Sometimes you'll have to shoot slugs, but you know, you're not killing it with any distance or anything. Del Boy, how are you doing, man? Yeah, we already answered that, Massimo. I have AKs. I have several of them. And I got some RPKs. YouTube needs to make permits for certain people to be able to handle. Yeah, I agree. I would absolutely love to do that. That would be, that's really probably where my channel would do well, is being able to do that. But I'll be honest with you, if so you can go to Instagram, and I have the same channel name on Instagram. I just started it a couple weeks ago. Subscribe to me there, and maybe sometime after a live here, we'll go to Instagram, because on Instagram you can go to the range. You can handle firearms on a live. So if that's something you guys are interested, I would absolutely do that. Yeah, well, regardless, like I said, if there's an interest there, we could do that. They shouldn't need it, but at the same time, they kind of have to these days. Yeah. Little liqueur, wow. Appreciate it, man. Just double tap that screen. APM Net just needs to be a big enough community to come together, makes a similar platform without the restrictions. That's never going to happen on YouTube. You know, not to some extent. I understand, you know, people doing that on a live, right? But you know what I mean? Clearly a mentally disturbed person. They just wanted an audience. So maybe it was better to have it on a YouTube live than going to, you know, your city center and doing it. You know, that's people that do that are people that never grew up and realized how insignificant you are. I mean, none of us are special. Face it, none of us. I'm not special. You're not special. We're just people, man. In a blink of an eye, we're gone. You know. We have impact on those around us, sometimes good, sometimes bad, but as a whole, I mean, we're insignificant, man. We're just people living life. Yeah, I don't live in a crimeless community. It's not a bad, but it's, you know, there's always some crazy thing once a year or so that's usually involving someone from out of the area. Yeah, we usually get some of that too. I don't know, like, our homicide rate's probably less than 40 people a year. I would prefer less crime in my community, but my trust in the cops is disseminated. So what I can say too about where I live, cops are a bunch of good old boys, man. You know, they're no bullshit, you know. Not all of them, the ones that have been here my whole life, they're the type of guys who will take you for a ride and not take you to jail. So, now the younger cops, most of them are by the book and they don't stick around long. I think our force is, I don't know how many total officers, maybe 100 total, like 40 or so during the day shift, and probably half that at night, and whatever. You can trust cops to make it an hour after you call them here. Yeah. If you call for a barking dog, they don't show up, but anything else, they stand on it pretty hard, and they roll deep. So, only because it's so rural. Yeah, that's a factor too. That's a 9mm. Colorado Springs is supposed to be pretty nice though, isn't it? My son went there for a while. From my understanding is it's very, very expensive to live there. I can't remember how many years ago did you start your collection. So I grew up on a farm. I had guns when I was a kid, right? I think I bought my first pistol when I was 20, and then really kind of started buying guns when I was about 21. So I have a lot, but it's because I don't sell stuff. You know, if there's something wrong with it, it doesn't shoot generally, I'll get rid of it. But, you know, I'll pick something up, I'll play with it for a while, and I put it away. On to the next one. It is lovely here, and yes, it's not cheap. John Winks, how are you doing, man? Good to see you. Glad you're here. Makes sense, LOL, about the same here, just not as big of a collection. Honestly, it probably seems like I have a lot more than I do. Because you gotta remember, right? I have 3 kids, so I don't share guns with my kids, I buy them their own. You know? Hamza, how are you doing? Yeah, we tried Fusion Firearms at GunCon. Had you come through my favorite YouTuber stream? Glad to see you live. Yep, we're live. Like I said, I told everybody we'd do the 4 days this week. I'm not going to do it tomorrow, but we'll kill these 4 days, probably, I don't know, hour and a half, 2 hours today, just to let people know we're still here. USMC Jerry, Master Sergeant. Well, sir, how are you doing? I appreciate you being here. I'm doing good. I hope your day's going good. Someday my kids will be old enough for that. Still Nerf guns for now, though. So I start buying my kids. What I do, because 3 kids, right? Either for Christmas or for their birthdays, they get a gun. So, like, if my 2 older sons got a gun for their birthday, then the daughter will usually get one for Christmas or whatever. But I mean, since they were little, I always get them a gun for either their Christmas or birthday. I don't buy my kids toys and video games. Everybody else does. I'm not buying my kids that shit. Hey man, do you know Tar? What do you mean Tar? I see you in Brother in Arms. Alright, man. I was watching you from Pakistan, also making videos about firearms too. Well, hey man, do me a favor. Go to the channel, go to a short, leave me a comment there. Tell me you were in the live and I'll come to your channel. I'll watch your stuff. Robert, I'm doing good, man. How are you doing today? Staying cool, staying hydrated? Big plans as we edge to the weekend? How warm was it? So y'all live in different areas of the country. How hot was it today for you guys? What's the appropriate age to teach your child gun safety? You start teaching your kid gun safety from the minute they can understand words. 98 here today, that's hot as fuck. Not bad, 73 right now. 73 sounded. I think we got up to like 89, 90. It's still getting warmer out, but tomorrow's supposed to be pretty hot. On the lake though, I'm getting a nice cool breeze off the water. We're real close to the lake, but the wind's blowing the opposite way, so it's not doing us any good. 93 here, that's hot as fuck too. That's too hot. You know? Why can't it be warm in the winter? I wonder what the water temp is right now. I haven't looked at that lately. I know my wife and kids went swimming. They went outside of our, 20 minutes away in one of the small little villages. They have a great big pond that they dug. It's a natural spring-fed pond, and for whatever reason, they all like going swimming out there. And I'll get a case of swamp bass going on here. Yeah, we all got swamp bass. It's kind of the thing, man. Use some Gold Bond. Don't be afraid to put a little deodorant under your sack. That helps. Is 3 too young to teach gun safety? The guy at the gun shop said that's a good age. I absolutely agree. Like I said, as soon as they start understanding words. So, like no and don't touch. I never hid guns for my kids. I never not let them look at them, but don't touch it. You want to look at it or touch it, ask, and we'll. First thing we do, make sure it's pointing in a safe direction, not pointing at us. Clear the firearm. You know, in my house we have a designated safe area or safe direction. Anytime we clear a firearm, we go to that direction, and that's done by on purpose. It's if there's ever an accidental discharge and the projectile exited that way, it's a safe direction. It's not going to hit a house. It's not going to hit a car or anything like that. So stuff like that is all right. USMC Jerry, Master Sergeant, hi. So open this. Yeah, you'll have to go to my channel. Leave me a message there, and we can talk. I don't have any other devices pulled up, so once I close out of this, the easiest way for us to communicate when you're done here is just go in my short or something and leave me a comment. I know the name. As soon as I'm done with the live, I'll pop in there and I'll jump on your channel. So, where are you located? House was Parrot, big enough his house didn't hear it. You know, the funny thing is, and I probably shouldn't say this, but I talk about how I grew up on a farm. I used to hunt out my bedroom window, you know, 10, 12 years old, because my house faced the back of the property, so I could see the chicken coop, I could see the hog pens, you know. I'd be in my bedroom and I'd snipe shit. That was acceptable, you know. When I was old enough to have guns, they were in my room. So I don't know how that works for gun safety, but they were in my room, you know. I mean, thinking back about it, it's kind of weird, right? You know, an 8-year-old kid has, you know, rifles and shotguns in his room in case he sees a fox or a squirrel or something, or squirrel, rabbits, fox, you know, whatever, dogs, stray cats, you know. That's everyday farm life. We had guns in the tractors. Yeah, I mean, as a young person, I started carrying a rifle with me damn near everywhere I went. Now, like in the middle of the day or something, not so much, but in the evening, early in the morning, because that's when you'd walk into the barn and there'd be a fox, or a fucking coon, or a possum, or, you know, heaven forbid, a skunk, you know. So, that was normal, man, you know. Kind of weird. It's like you see people nowadays, you know, walking down the street with an AR-15, everybody gets weird about that, which it's maybe a little weird, but, you know, here I am, 8, 9, 10 years old, driving a truck to the feed mill with a fucking shotgun in the car, you know, or in the back of the truck. It was just the way it was. It was never like looked down on or weird. It's, you know. But I mean, I'm not gonna lie. My bedroom window was a great place to deer hunt. That was fantastic. I never even realized there was like something wrong with that until later in life, you know. Yeah, more likely to have one than not have one around here. So, you know, and don't get me wrong, like most of our stuff is always kept in a safe, right? But the safe isn't to keep my kids away from them. They know the combination, you know. It's a safe. It's just trying to be a responsible firearms owner, you know. Ronaldo, you have a question. Go ahead. What's your question, man? Do you think the Shadow System DR920 is a good... All right. So I don't have experience with the 920, the DR920, but what I do have experience is the MR920P Elite. A lot of people had a lot of bad things to say about Shadow System. I myself, I never considered owning one until I bought one. And I'll be honest, it's a nice gun. We just hit 7,000 rounds in it, and we got it in the spring. So in the last, what, 3 months, you know, we got 7,000 rounds through it. We haven't had any problems with it. It's been 100% reliable. They are a striker fired gun. Some ammunition that has harder primers they don't like, but that's an ammo issue, not a gun issue. My Glocks are the same way. So my safe is for stopping thieves. Exactly. I wouldn't even say it's for stopping thieves. I think it's more for fire protection, you know. But like, I'm weird too. Most of my magazines are in a safe, you know, and it's not because I'm worried about something happening, but because they're expensive. I got, you know, how many magazines, how many drums, how many, you know, Saiga 12 mags and shit. We just keep them in a safe. They're organized. They're kept put away. It's not to keep my kids from having it. It's just someplace to keep the shit safe. Most, not all, most of the ammunition I have in a safe too. I have a couple big safes. We just keep it in there. All your mags are on the ground. Oh, I should probably keep them in a better place. You should keep them in a better place, D-Dog. Mags are expensive. They are expensive, you know. And the thing is, right, so if somebody breaks into your house and they steal a couple firearms, that sucks. But there's serial numbers and shit. Somebody breaks in your house and steals all your magazines. I mean, I have thousands and thousands of dollars worth of magazines, and they could sell them. There'd be no questions asked, you know. There's no keeping anything out of the moisture around here. Everything is absolutely moist. I have seen a refrigerator-sized safe full of ammo. Was inherited with their property. They had ammo for guns they didn't own. That's all right. I'd be buying guns just to use the ammunition. Unless it was like a box of this and a box of that. Yeah, I'm in the same boat. So realistically, I keep them in a safe, you know. And again, it's not because I'm trying to keep my kids from it. You know, they can get in there anytime they want. But oh, even the streams, absolutely, everything's moist. So, D-Dog, how hot was it by you today? How come you haven't done any more lives, too? Unless I've missed them. You need to do some more lives. They had the money, they could afford to get the gun, even if there was one box he was sitting on the guns that he forgot about buying. I do that sometimes. I go through stuff and forget I have things. SIG, I do not own any SIGs. Was the moisture unbearable today? It was. It's always unbearable. It was hot, man. It's hotter than it was yesterday, and the humidity is up. It's 87 out right now. I was going to last night, but I started drinking some beer. Hey, man, I wouldn't mind interacting a little buzzed up D-Dog. I think that could be a whole lot of fun. I would probably, I can pretty much guarantee I would corrupt you into saying things you shouldn't say on live. If you're asking my opinion, I'd buy the Shield over the 365. Again, and some of this, right, my own opinion, it's not that even the 365 is a bad gun, it's the company. We always used to give him crap. We called him adopted in our younger years. Him and his sister didn't look much alike. Years later, we found out he was actually adopted. There you go. Yeah, you should buy your ex-girlfriend's or ex-wife's or your ex-wife's friend that she told you not to worry about as a wedding present with the Appendix carry holster. SIG 20 is the gun you buy your ex. You imagine having a real shitty divorce, and when you get everything all finalized and done, they say, here's a present for you. Yeah, he's just a friend 320. He was just a friend. Sharif. Yes, I should say that right, Sharif. Real? Yes, they're all real, bud. Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. And you got to make sure they got some hollow points, too. You want to make sure it counts. I'm pretty sure at this point, Sig is doing more circumcisions than the rabbis. That right there, though, that's the reason I don't know. I never understood people wanting to carry Appendix. Heaven forbid something goes wrong and I walk with a limp. I mean, I don't know. We definitely know Sig is pro transition. It's a transition helper, a forced transition helper. I thought, well, was a he, now is she. Yeah, turned from a boyfriend to a girlfriend right now. That's okay though. It's all about, equality and diversity. Matt, what's going on? How are you doing? Well, I mean, it's okay. I don't know. A lot of people don't. For me, I never, I touch tips with tips. That's kind of hot. It makes you moist, doesn't it? Makes me moist just saying it. It's kind of like people that carry in the small of their back too. It just doesn't make sense to me. Maybe I'm a little bit of a fud. I don't know. I prefer to carry, that 3 to 4 o'clock on my hip, inside waistband, good to go. Maybe because I've been doing that forever, that's just what I prefer. Not from carrying, but just from some freak accident somehow else. Negligent discharge. Yeah. Thing is, I carry places where I shouldn't. So do I. That's why I carry Glock 26. I can carry that gun with just a t-shirt on if people don't see it. Maybe if I were a little tiny skinny person, but I'm not. Yeah, that's SIG's just doing their part to increase their preferred community. Absolutely. They are. Yes, I agree. Maybe we've been looking at it all wrong. What do you think of the platypus? I just ordered one. Other than what I've seen in videos or online, I've never seen one in person. I've never seen anybody shooting one. I've never seen one in person. I've never handled one. So I have nothing good or bad to say. I like the concept of the Glock magazines. But if you're going to have a 2011, the MBX or Checkmate mags are probably better, I guess maybe it depends on what you're going to do with it, I'll laugh my ass off and like Jaguar, yeah. I think if D-Dog's still here, he's played with the platypuses. Ammo. So if you guys haven't, subscribe to Official Ammo Alchemist. Ammo, put your channel name up and I'll pin it. We got him pretty well convinced, or convinced isn't the word, committed that he will get a haircut at 9,000 subscribers. Who is my least liked gun tuber? I'm not even going to say the name. I got a couple that I really am not a fan of. I have a few that they somehow think that I don't like them, and it's not that I don't like them, I'm just trying to educate them. But I'm telling you, it was soft shooting, and it felt like it was comp reported. So, There's ammo. Shit. Oh, not what I meant to do. There you go. Also, D-Dog, man, everybody here, you guys got channels, so subscribe to everybody. I'm starting to conceal carry weapon, and I probably, problem is, only got a Colt defensive 9mm and a Glock 41. Don't know which one I should CCW. No, I don't think anybody can honestly answer that for you. The answer is carry them both. See which one's more comfortable. Have you had an opportunity to shoot the Canik TTI Combat? It's quickly become my favorite full size. I did. We just shot it 2 weeks ago. Caniks have nice triggers. Carry whatever you shoot better. Absolutely. I agree. Carry the CZ. Carry both. TTI equals 8.5. Is that on the slide in chart? So it's funny. Ammo had a live. I won't even say it. Never mind. I won't even tell you guys that. He got upset with me though because I put somebody on a timeout. Carry what you won't blow your pickle off with. Yeah, biggest thing, find a good holster and don't just settle on a holster. Buy a holster and kind of get to know it. Don't be like, oh, this is the greatest thing ever. You can take other people's reviews or opinions with a grain of salt. You have to try it for yourself. Yeah. Yeah. I think D-Dog, if you think about it, you'll probably figure out who it was because you weren't very impressed with them either. I like my TTI, but kind of wish I would have saved the money. Buyer's remorse. D-Dog has a TTI too. You still have that, right, D-Dog? Yep, that's the guy. What's the nicest pistol grip you have? What do you mean by the nicest pistol grip? Like the actual grip panels? If you're talking about grip panels, there's really two that come to mind if you're going to change grips. Either Lock, L-O-K, or Hogue. Between them two companies, you'll find anything for everything you would possibly want. So, I don't know if that answered your question or not. Not everyone has the same hands, arms, length, strength, technique. So what one likes, absolutely, man. So let me attest to this, right? When we were at GunCon, we were shooting all kinds of different guns, and a lot of them I could pick up and shoot really well. And there was stuff that I picked up and I couldn't hit anything with it. My son would pick it up and he was hitting shit. Other people would. And then we'd go to other guns and then people were missing with them and I was hitting shit. So just because you like something, just because you want to shoot something well, doesn't mean you will. There's a lot of things that people buy that, and things can be overcome. You can work through problems, but if you can't pick it up and naturally be good with it, maybe there's other options. You want to find something that you can instinctively shoot well. I think there's only one. I'm not a fan of gun tuber wise, but it is what it was and where it is. Yeah. Kel-Tec Sub2000 is peak firearms. You know, I used to want one of them Sub2000s in the worst way, like the worst way. And then I had a chance to shoot one. I still think they're kind of cool. I liked them a lot more when they were a lot less expensive, but I thought it would be something different than it was, and I don't know. Kel-Tec is an interesting company. I mean, you like them, you hate them, whatever, but at least they're trying to do something different. They're trying to do their own thing and not just eat everybody else's fucking cum shot. I think I would go for a PC carbine now instead of a Sub2000. Daniel, what's going on? What are you up to? You guys fuck with the M16A4. What's an M16A4? What's my buyer's remorse? I don't know. I have a lot of things, not so much that I regretted buying, other than they didn't shoot. Like the last one that I bought that I was extremely disappointed with was a Sent Me. It was cool, it looked cool, it was in great condition, but I mean, you're talking like 100 yards off the rest, it was shooting like a fucking 8-inch group, you know? It wasn't a super expensive rifle. It was reasonably fairly priced, but I had it, we went out and shot it, took it out a second time with like a variety of ammunition to figure out if it was me or the gun. It was the gun, and I got rid of it. I think the Springfield Coon is kind of the hot ticket. You like your Smith & Wesson FPC better than Kel-Tec Sub2000? Yeah, but again, they're copying, you know. So I don't know what they did to improve it other than make it a side folder, but you know, the last gun I shot that I was super disappointed with was 686. Yeah, but it's a 686, you know. You gotta understand, you know what I mean? The Charger is awesome, also the binary trigger is even better. Shoots and wishes, what do you mean? No, it's not a Python for sure, but the 686, people run them for USPSA, they run them for Steel Challenge, they run them for IDPA. You're not seeing anybody run Colts, you know. They're just monster guns, you know. They work, you know. You can do a lot to them. M16A4 is just the 4th generation M16 rifle. It was used by the USMC. What's the USMC? Glock 17 or M&P 2.0. My opinion, Glock 17. IV buyer's remorse is not that it's a bad thing. It's just a lot wasted hype. Could have saved a little more and got a shadow. Yeah. I did. You heard it. Is that wrong of me? Listen, man, I don't even know how to say your name or what exactly that is. I'm just fucking with you, right? Obviously. It's just a state of our mind, man. WNBA. Hello from South Africa. How are you doing, man? Yeah, you knew how it was. I want a Shadow. Never owned one. Shot my friends yesterday. I like it. The Shadow 2 you're talking, right? That's let me be honest, right? One gun that I bought that I was actually disappointed with it when I bought it was the SP01 Competition. In the store it felt good. I thought it would be a great shooter, and I bought it, and I was extremely disappointed in it once I actually got out and started shooting it. And then I stuck another $900 in it, and I'm still not in love with it. You know, it's just not. Gold 38. I'm not sure what's a gold 38. I was like, wait, the fuck did I? You heard it. I mean, if I should be nice, would you rather have a Sig 365 macro or a Glock 19? I'd say a Glock. That's just my own stuff, you know. I'm not in love with Sigs. That's just me. Some people really like them. I don't. I'm afraid I'll get the SP01 and just prefer the garbage Glock. I don't think so, because you like revolvers, so you like that double action trigger. So I paid extra money to have the competition version. It wasn't as accurate as I thought it should have been. It didn't run. It cycled and ran, but it wasn't as smooth as I expected it to be. I bought that, then not even a week later I went and bought the Shadow 2. I was going to buy the Shadow 2, and Gage actually talked me into get the SP01 because we could use it for more things. And the Shadow 2 is a great gun, but that's probably one of the Shadows or the CZs I use the least. It's just a weird, for me it's a weird place. Most people it's more gun than they would ever want, and it would exceed their expectations. What gun would you recommend to a new gun owner for their first gun? For a handgun, again, my own opinion, I prefer Glocks. I would tell somebody buy a Glock. Get out, shoot it, it's going to work, you're going to be able to carry it, it's going to do everything you want to do. Other people are going to tell you Smith & Wesson, some are going to tell you Canucks, you know. It's just, everybody has their own thing. Tactical Dad, what's going on? How are you, man? I'm glad to see you. How's that southern part of the state? It's hot. I know it's hot. Yeah, I would advise against buying the SP01. Let's buy another Shadow 2. Like I said, I bought it. It was the SP01 competition. The Tactical actually shoots more accurately than that. Hot as shit in Arizona. It's hot as shit everywhere. 45. Yeah, don't even fuck around with the 44, man. Go straight 500 Smith & Wesson with what do they call it? Their Alaskan. What's that called? The 3-inch barrel version. Glock 45 is also solid as Hellcat Pro. Echelon, yeah, a lot of people like the Echelons too. I've never shot one, so I'm not sure. Full of infringements and human. Yep, it's hot. Glocks are just universally accepted as good. They are a good firearm. They don't excel at any one thing, but they do everything well. If you want to get in competition shooting, they work. If you want to carry it for home defense, they work. If you need to pound a rusty nail, they work. It's a good utilitarian firearm. I finally shot my 21 today. Grip's still a little thicker than I like, but it's a beast. There you go. I did hold a 17 not long ago. It wasn't horrible. You know, it's a lot of people like, you pick up a Glock and it's plain. It's like dating that chick with fucking braces, glasses, and no tits. It's plain, but it gets the job done. You know, it does everything you want a handgun to do and more. You know, are they blocky? Yeah, they're blocky. The thing with Glocks that I'll say over a lot of things is for me, again, this is just me, they have a great natural point of aim. I don't have to work at it real hard to hit targets with a Glock. I still work at shooting the CZs harder than I do with Glocks. Glocks are reliable, that's no bull. P95 optics cut. Yeah, a lot of people like the old Rugers. I had P80, was it P85, P85, a P89, and then what was the last one, 90 or something? CZ is fantastic, Glock brilliant, but Canuck value for money and great performance. Yeah, some people, like I was saying, some people really like Canucks. I myself, I've shot them. They have great triggers. There's no denying Canucks got a great trigger. I wasn't in love with them. I EDC a Hellcat Pro or a Smith & Wesson M&P 2-point home defense is a Beretta M9A4 with an Obsidian can. There you go. That's driving the point home. And you can buy fake teats. Yeah, Yeah, the braces come off eventually. You know, a little LASIK eye surgery, a set of tits, and you know, 6 months later, she's with the guy she told you not to worry about. So being the solid motherfucker you are, you buy him a Sig 320 for their wedding present. Most of the dependable guns are plain but reliable, and that's what makes them reliable. You know, they're sprung to be reliable. The MIGs are good. You know, they just no bullshit. You know, a Glock is a good starting point, and it's a good thing to come back to. You know, nothing compares to the quality of high points. Well, I'm not ever gonna dog on high points. I'll be honest, right? They're definitely better than they used to be. It's still a high point, but unlike a lot of guns, they work most of the time. You know, we shot a suppressed high point, the heat cannon. We shot that at GunCon, and I'm not gonna lie, it was kind of fun. It was interesting to shoot. Other than that Phoenix Trinity, them were probably the two guns I enjoyed shooting the most. Was that high point and that Phoenix. It's kind of like the Walther P99 doesn't get the recognition. Walther is definitely undervalued, or not undervalued, underappreciated. They're great, you know. Laughed my ass off. My dad was married 7 times. He called it his build-a-hoe workshop. Once they were beautiful, he would start over. That's fantastic. Build-a-hoe. Yeah. Fly Troop, what's going on, man? How are you doing? Build-a-hoe. I like that. Build-a-hoe. Yeah. I don't know, man. I should look at the weather for the weekend because I want to do some shooting. My tandem cross lower will be here on Saturday, so I definitely want to go play with that on Saturday when it shows up. Hopefully it shows up on Saturday. The tracking number says it will. For rifles, I like BCM. I have a Recce 16 with EOTech EPS 1, plus a 3.25 magnifier, and FDE upgraded furniture, light upgrade trigger, springs, buffer tube, smooth dot, never lose window. There you go. I like BCM because they're made in Wisconsin, so it's a home company. This Glock 17 Gen 1 from the 80s and 90s, a good gun for a beginner getting into the hobby. If it's cheap, yes. But obviously, everything with age, you know, things wear out, springs, barrels, whatever. Would it be something for you to get out and go have a lot of fun with? Yes. And if it's been maintained, it could be fine. I just went out and bought a Ruger RXM and love it. I need to go shoot one. I haven't shot one, but again, I've played with them. They seem to be fucking solid. What buffers are you running? In what gun? Are you asking me? Or are you asking the other one? Just got a Gen 5 G17, better trigger and better internals. There you go. My newest 17 is a Gen 4. So, oh, I'm sorry, Weston. What's going on, man? I saw your message. I just kind of glanced over it. But yeah, what's going on? How are you doing? Good to see you come in. Lexus, yeah, it's an expensive Toyota. It is. How are you doing, man? Thanks for showing up. Nothing much. It's fine. I'm good to see you too. Yeah. Want the Barrett? Yeah, that's, you know, when you're talking about like buyer's remorse, I'm not going to say that's my most expensive gun. But I'll be honest, when I bought that, I was looking at buying an Infinity, a gun. And to this day, I think I should have bought the Infinity over that. But I would never get rid of it. It's a ton of fun, and it was a bucket list item. We can't touch guns on a live. Oh, you're up. I can do this though. Check this out. 1 second. I can make this work. Does that work for you? I would have got the. Like I said, I was thinking about it, and what kept me from getting the Infinity was I wanted a backup gun, and there's no way I could afford two. That's why I bought the Checkmates. By buying the Checkmates, similar money to the Infinity, a little less, but then I was able to buy the Barrett. I actually won a Glock deer in Glocktober at my shooting range, $650 voucher. I got a G45 since I had a Hellcat Proms EDC. Also, I got a 43X. I bought the 43Xs thinking they would be nicer than they were, but I really need to get that radium ramjet for it. That changes the whole gun. Nice dog, yeah. That's Mo. That's her name. The other two are sleeping. I don't have an Infinity, but you do have some Staccatos. What Staccatos do you have? Yeah, I mean, so like the Infinity, I don't know, that would have been me, right? The Barrett I share with people. You know, my kids shoot it, people we meet shoot it. It's just kind of cool. I'm glad I have it, you know. You got the P and the XC. There you go. Yeah, smell the shadow. Good pup. Well, she heard the Barrett, so she went over to see what I was doing with the Barrett. Legit question, wife carries a LCP 380, should be, because, hold on. Back. Let's see. Because of her job, she needs to go up thinking 43. 43 with the Ramjet, the 43X. John Winks. I'm losing you guys. If I'm not answering your stuff, I apologize. It's just all scrolling faster than I can. You have the Shadow 2 carry? No, I do not have the Shadow 2 carry. Nor do I think I would buy one. The Shadow 2 carry has the decocker. CZ and decockers don't equal nice triggers. I daily the XC, the P was my suppressor host, but I learned quickly that I hate suppressed pistols. Yeah. What do you run? What do you run in your XC? Do you run any like major? Or you just run standard velocity 9mm ammunition? Twin arrows, I appreciate it. Yes, D-Dog, I know you can. You're a beast with the handguns. Yeah, he's a monster, man. At some point, him and I'll meet up somewhere. And when we do, I'll distract him. I'll have the kids tie his shoes together. And then we'll do a stage on camera. That's the only time we'll ever shoot. If you're not cheating, you're not winning. You could always change it out for a manual safety though, right? I don't think you can change the decocker models. So I gotta think, they had, fuck gun was that? The Omega. The Omega you could shift or change from a decocker to a safety, but the decocker models are decocker models. You can't switch it. You could always, yeah, I read that. At the range, I just run standard shit, 125 grain Blazer and Remington. Alright. These nuts in the house. For carry ammo, I use the standard go-to defense rounds. I wonder how much difference the Ramjet would make on my Remington Arms comp and my 45. I love my suppressor, Rugged Obsidian. I can't speak for that, but the Ramjets we were shooting, the 43X, completely transformed that gun. It actually turned it into something. Thinking about the 45, soon can decide a metal frame or something like an FN. I'd assume you get better handling with the heavier weight. A heavier gun is slower on target transition, but it eats up recoil. Federal HST plus P, quiet. It still has to be concealed. Well, she part of the pilot program this year. So the 43X with the Ramjet, it adds a little barrel length, but it doesn't add anything to the grip. So it's still very easy to conceal. Tyler, the Federal HST looks wicked on ballistics. Do you think the Ramjet would improve the feel over a Harridan Arms comp since the ports are? I don't know, because I've never shot the Harridan Arms. That's why I have no... I mean, I'll tell you whatever you want to hear, but I honestly don't know. You know, it's like, what's better, ports or comps? You know, is it better to have a straight line of popple holes or like a V ports? You know, I don't know. I would love, I mean, maybe someday I'll be able to answer them questions, but I honestly can't answer them right now. I think it's the FBI selection of ammo. Weight balanced properly in boraxes is what adds up to speed. Large comps don't hurt her either. No, comps help, you know, but you have to have enough gas to make the comp work. Certain states allow certain staff in some schools as a line of defense. Yeah, I don't disagree or have issues that any teacher or a staff member, I wouldn't care if a lunch lady had a Glock in her fucking man purse, you know, it wouldn't bother me. I think it's a good idea, you know. I don't think I'd recommend any holster company. Type of holsters I buy are probably very different than what you would want. The other thing is I'm left-handed, so it's hard to find a good holster for a left-handed gun. So I have a couple people I deal with or have dealt with that make Kydex holsters. The V8 style or island style ports, I think, lower the muzzle velocity and maybe help a bit with muzzle arms. They do lower velocity. That's one of the things you do when shooting 9mm majors. You add ports, which decrease your velocity, but then you add more powder, which gives you more gas. Chunk ports and true compensator, I think, makes the biggest difference. The bronze Ramjet would be my go-to on a Glock 45. It's hard to swallow the $410 price tag. I could get a Canik EDC for the price and almost an Echelon compact. Yeah. Because I have the 243Xs, I will build one out with the radiant shit. I do like their Magwell they have for it, and I definitely will get the barrel and the comp. You play with any FRT triggers? I have, and the ATF still has them. And if you don't believe that, I can show you the letter that's legitimately sitting right next to me. The 4th or 3rd letter they've sent me about giving me my shit back. And each time I fill it out, and each time I send it back, and each time I don't get them. I would say though, I don't have any 9mm. Everything I have is 50 cal. I will say, if you're looking at force reset triggers, get the stuff that either directly copies rare breed or WOT, or the actual rare breed or WOT. Them are through the court system. Them have been ruled legal. The Hoffman Super Safety and them types of things, they have not. And the ATF still considers them machine guns. So do what you want with that. Yeah, they do. They don't make laws. They just do whatever the executive branch is telling them to. I finished HK 416 build. The FRT 15 3-position was a nightmare getting work appropriately. Yeah, the ATF shouldn't exist. Trying to read all. FRTs to hand. The FRTs are legal, so you don't have to hand them over. When they went around and they were sending letters and confiscating them, I had to visit, like, the shit was announced today. You know, you saw it on YouTube and shit. The next day I had a letter in my mailbox. The next day after that, they were at my house. They had, when they showed up, they had every email I sent the companies. They had the tracking numbers and all that. They knew I had them. For me, they're a couple $100. What the WOT was, I think, $350, and the rare breed was $4. Wasn't even worth the argument. Here you go on your way. You know. Have you ever used Rufus rounds in the 50? I have not used Rufus rounds in my 50. Should be a store. No, it's more like a bad case of hoarders. Oh, I lost the last comment there. I have Apex triggers on all my striker fired. My Beretta has the Landon Tactical trigger. Yeah, the trigger in a bag. It's smooth and crisp. Single action on them, 984. It's like butter. Yeah, Landon Tactical, they know their shit, man. But he was a, you know, he was on the Beretta shooting team. Dude knows his shit. He is, I mean, he's the boss, you know. Two-way veteran, how are you doing? What's big with you? Are you staying hydrated, staying cool? I should have taken a vacation day tomorrow. I still have a bunch of time to burn before October. But all's well, just got home. Right on, man. Well, I appreciate you stopping in and saying what's up. FV, scroll up my last comment if you get a chance. Alright. Have you shot the Apex triggers before? I was looking to maybe switch from Apex to Overwatch. I've never played with Overwatch. I have shot Apex. FV, I watched a lot of your content last night. Oh my god, what was the story on the golf cart driving across the range? So that's D-Dog Tacticals. D-Dog, he can explain that to you. That's actually, that's who D-Dog is. That's off of his channel. A Desert Eagle is chambered in 50 AE and 44 Magnum. It has both barrels for it. Said hi. I don't know how to say your name. I'm not even sure what language that is. Russian, Ukrainian, I don't know. But hey, what's up, man? How are you doing? You know, the trigger I want to get a Timney for my Glock 34. No, I remixed it, so you can go on there and it's, I'm trying to think of where on it, but if you click in, it'll say remixed or something off of D-Dog Tacticals. It'll take you right to his page. Check his channel out. Subscribe to him. Tell him you saw him here. He told me one time, every subscriber that comes from my live, he'll give me $100. You'd 100. I know you would. I don't think you have any limits to what you would carry. NSK Arc, what's going on, man? How are you doing? So I've been interacting with D-Dog for years now. He's across the big lake from me, and he shoots USPSA. I started interacting with him because he shoots, he has a CZ Parrot. So the Parrot's a limited edition checkmate, and I really want one. I still want one. But I started watching his channel and talking to him because that's what he ran. So At this point, I think he's a solid person. You know, I like him. I think Desert Eagle also comes with, it does, you can get the 357 Magnum. Yeah, so we don't use the 50-80 barrel. The 44 we shoot, that's fun. It's manageable. Depending on what load you're shooting, it works. It doesn't really like super high velocity rounds. It just doesn't run great with that. Normal pressure stuff, it runs great. What do you think people shooting their guns from inside their homes out the door? For content, it's retarded. But I don't know if you were here earlier. You know, when I grew up on a farm, you know, I hunted out of my bedroom. You know, my room was on the corner of the house, and one side I saw the apple orchard. The back side I could see the hog pens, the chicken coop, in the back of the property. So it was normal for me to do that. Do you have any rifles? There's one on top of the screen, man. I mean, is that not enough of a rifle? You know, having kids and stuff might be a better idea not to do it, but you know, we've all done worse. You know, let me put it like this: if there's a reason to do it, I absolutely don't disagree. For me, I mean, I'd be up there, and because them were the way my windows face, when I'd look out the window, if I saw a fox or a deer hunting a deer, I'd shoot it. It wasn't anything weird. Any tips on making guns at home? I acknowledge your comment. That's all I'm gonna say. Herbert, how are you doing? Is that Herbert from? It is from Family Guy. What's his last name? It's Herbert the Pervert, but I can't think of what his actual last name is. I mean an assault rifle. What's an assault rifle? What's Herbert's last name? I know somebody here knows that. Armalite rifle? I don't own any Armalites. The bug assaults are pretty cool. Them guns that shoot salt at like flies and shit. That's pretty cool assault rifle. What's your most reliable striker fired firearms? Glocks. Stock Glocks. Once you start doing trigger work on them and shit, it changes shit. John Herbert, that's what it is. John Herbert. Herbert the Pervert. I just know the pervert part, didn't know he had a last name. Yeah, it's John Herbert. I used to when people talk shit to me in like my videos, I'd call him John Herbert. If people knew what it was, or when they would Google it, they would usually stop talking shit. But I haven't used that in a while. Herbert is the last name. His first name is John, but they call him Herbert the Pervert. I like the 26 too. That's my choice for carry gun. I've carried a Gen 3, a Gen 4, and a Gen 5. My Gen 4 was probably my favorite Glock 26. And it's not that it shot better or it was more reliable. It was that I think I had that one the longest, and it was worn. It was smooth to carry. My new one still hasn't worn, and it's getting better, but I'm going to buy another Colt soon, Effie. Which one are you going to buy now? I mean, I'm not going to talk you out of buying another Colt, John. I am 100% an enabler. Oppenheimer? I don't know. Google it. I'd Google it, but I can't. Are you gonna buy another 45, or you gonna get like a 10 millimeter? Lauren, how are you doing? It's been a while. How goes it, my friend? Don't know if you recall all my weird DWX books. I do. I do. but I finally got it fixed. So what did you all have to do to square it away? I know you were waiting on a holster. I just had it pulled up. I have an optic coming for mine, so we'll start running USPSA. I don't know, maybe yet this month, definitely in August. But yeah, tell me what you did. I absolutely remember. We talked quite a bit about that. Series 70 1911 that you're going to personally customize. There you go. Building 1911s are tricking them out. Extractor was definitely sprung wrong from the factory. Did you end up sending it in, or were you able to get it squared away? So I can admit that I have barely shot my DWX since I've had it. I got a few thousand rounds through it, but I've been waiting for the last half of summer here to start running it. So I think when we talked about it, I was even telling you then it'd be the last half of summer and I'd start running it. Have you gotten to shoot USPSA with it? I'm pretty sure we talked about that. You were going to do that. I like the 45. I'm not sure if I could afford 10mm. So here's something, John. You know you can do barrel conversions on the 45. You can do like a 460 rolling. If you buy another Colt, check that out just for shits and grins. It'd be cool. Yes, we did. I sent it to CZ USA after trying everything I could, and I got it back with a new spring installed. And the spring is easily twice the tension of the previous. Something was drastically wrong. It happens. I actually had to do a warranty with mine, but it was stupid. It was for a screw. Did they treat you right? They treated me great. They sent me the wrong screw 3 different times, but John Winks Herbert. Yeah. How many rounds do you have through yours? How's it been running? Has it been finicky on ammunition? Like I said, I haven't really tested mine. We shot it, we broke it in. I don't even know how many rounds I threw it. I'd have to look. Not a lot. So. What optic did you end up putting on yours? I think, didn't you change the grips too? I haven't gotten to try USPSA, but I got my holster and guns been running like a sewing machine since I got it back. That's fantastic. Got roughly 5 to 7 through it. Has it had a ammo preference, bullet weight or manufacturer? Most of which were pre-repair. Well, that's gay. That's a lot of rounds to not have something work. You know, that's really gay. Didn't you have a finish problem too? Something with your finish. Yeah, you had an issue where some of your finish is coming off, did you not? I'm hoping. Time out me? No, I don't think we need to time you out. I'm hoping that CZ introduces a race gun version of DWX. Something with either ports or a comp and a gas pedal. That would be badass. Hey, John Winks. Since you are a moderator, you want to boot him? Boot him out permanently, though. John's here, we'll let him use his gifted powers. It's John Herbert. There you go. Good job, John. That's what we're paying you for. You see my responses. I'm looking. I haven't gotten to try USPSA. I saw that. I read that. Roughly 5 to 7, most of which were pre-repair. No, did I miss something? Only because you requested. Kebab ammo. Getting ready for IDPA. Well, well, well. Hey. Stop it back here. Alright. I got a live one. The Glock 17L is the Glock she tells you not to worry about. Yep. It's the ammo alchemist. Banned the guy forever. No, I think he just did a timeline. I would have banned him forever. When I boot people, I don't boot them for 30 seconds or a minute or 2 hours. I kick them permanently. I want to get into some comp shooting, some steel challenge stuff or some steel target stuff. Looks really fun to shoot steel. Never done it. Steel is a lot of fun to shoot. You get the instant gratification that you hit it. You hear the ting. Steel is way more fun to shoot than paper. Yeah, it was only 86 seconds, so or 86,000 seconds, whatever. Any thoughts on the Echelon Springfield? I don't. I haven't handled one. I did try to get a hold of one when they first came out. The store I deal with was not going to stock them and was not going to sell them because Springfield was selling them to dealers at MSRP, which meant they don't make any money on the gun. So ammo, shoot safe, shoot fast, don't suck. Yeah, when we saw it, right? We saw the videos and the release. It looks cool, but I lost interest when I realized I couldn't get it, and I could have, right? I could have ordered it off of one of the sites or whatever, but I lost interest in it like right away. I am curious. I mean, if any of y'all have ever shot one, is it a good shooting gun? Reliable, accurate? I don't even know what's available now for parts. There's got to be an aftermarket market for it. You check out the Big Dog Steel holster we were talking about. I did. I haven't ordered it yet. I got to order one. I'll have a dot here Monday or Tuesday, I think, is when it's going to show up. The optic plate is on its way, and I got to order a holster. That's yeah, that was kind of what I was curious about, is Blazer brass. I think I'm going to start buying that for the kids. I generally reload for everybody, but it's getting to be a lot of headache to try and figure out time to do it. I have one and it runs beautiful in full auto. There you go. That's all that matters. Ammunition trouble could have been extractor related though. The Echelon has gotten high praise. I think one of the gun of the year held a few times. Never shot one, but shoot lots of Springfield Firearms. You own a Hellcat. The Echelon has a great grip for me. It fired nicely. I would say it's similar to Glock 19 in my opinion, but a slightly better trigger and grip. It should be because, I was looking at getting into the 1911 double stack or 2011 game, and Springfield Prodigy is a good entry. They are, but everybody I see run them has a lot of problems with them. And then you read reviews or you read forums, and they say they fix it, but from my experience, what I see is everybody has issues. What dot did you get? I'll show you. I'll show you when it comes. Because it's actually, it's something we got from GunCon. It's sent to us. So we'll try it and see if it works. But check back. I'll post it when it shows up. I probably wouldn't have bought it, but I didn't buy it. So I got to do a review on it and shit. And when I talked to him, they asked me what gun I was going to put it on. I told him the DWX, and he got excited. He's like, yeah, I'll hook you up. So we'll see if it works. If it doesn't, we'll switch to something else. For the price, it's supposed to be amazing and great feel. Not a Staccato level, but you can use $1,000 safe rough grade. Yeah, Maverick, I appreciate it. You always need a good airsoft collection. The Echelon is the only gun that factory plate blew off on me in less than 500 rounds. Lazy factory manufacturing. I'll pass on Springfields. Check out the second half of that previous message. Which previous message? I'm trying to read it all, but it started scrolling. I missed the stuff. All right. What did you get? Also, seeing a lot of grandmasters running the big dog steel holster. All of a sudden, the standoff from the hip and the lock plus 0 friction draw is awesome. I've been kind of hoping that they would come out with a block for the double alpha. So I'd really just like to buy a block for my holster, not have to buy a whole new holster, but they haven't. So, as your town, you're not legally allowed to own real guns. This isn't even my live, man. I'm honestly screen recording somebody else's live. I'm just, you know, I shouldn't have said that out loud, but we're all friends here. Jonah, how are you doing, man? You survived another day. It's good. It's good to see you. Have you gotten your Barrett yet? Fuck. Y'all be sure to actually double tap the screen and put a like on the live. If you're hanging out in the shadows, I don't even know how many people are here. If you're hanging out in the shadows, man, jump in the conversation, subscribe. You think the 22 for plinking, yeah, it's a great gun. For accuracy, if you want an actual like super accurate factory semi-automatic 1022 is not necessarily your first go-to pick. The fact that it's held in place with a V block and not screwed is, I'm not going to say it's an issue because you can get a good accurate gun, but there's other things that would be more accurate. But I have 3 1022s. They're great. They run great. They last forever. They are cheap to customize, and there's tons and tons and tons of parts. You said you were getting a Beretta, but rent is high, so I'm settling on a Jericho 941. That's okay though. That's a good gun. That's a CZ75-ish type firearm. They're good. I need to buy my daughter a 1022. Both my sons have one. I have one, but I want to get her one. And again, magazines. I have a bunch of magazines for it. I have parts that we, have come off of guns that are good parts that aftermarket shit. But I want to get her a takedown only because I want to play with it. Other things, At some point, we'll get her one. And I would have probably gotten her one already for Steel Challenge, but she shoots the 1522. Arizona Kid, what's going on? How are you doing? Did you stay hydrated today? Stay cool? So I can listen to Big Iron by Marty Robbins and feel awesome. That's it. Marty Robbins is the shit. You know, I'm not gonna lie, I have some of his stuff in my playlist. You know, but I like Johnny Cash, you know, Merle Haggard, Waylon Jennings, Hank Williams Sr., Jr., and the Third. I don't care for Willie Nelson though. That's one guy I'm not a big fan of. Oh yeah, I hydrate with coffee, and I love Marty Robbins. I'm thinking about getting a Daniel Defense DDM4V7, but it would break my wallet if I ever buy it, but it's on the wish list. So Daniel Defense makes good firearms, but they are a little pricey for what they are. But they make great guns. They got a swell album on Apple Music. I love Hank Williams and Lefty Frizzle. Me too, Arizona Kid. I drink more coffee than water. I don't drink coffee. I'm not a coffee drinker. My Daniel Defense I actually bought used. It was a COVID purchase somebody made, and it was one of these guys who went into Shields or something, and they went and bought every part they had, they put on the gun, and then they had it for a couple of years, and they traded it in. It was never even fired. It came with a loop-holed optic, different stock, different grip, different sights, all kinds of bullshit, slings, bipods, and it all came with the gun, and honestly, it cost less than what the optic did brand new, and everything was brand new. I only wanted the optic, but they wouldn't sell me just the optic, so I bought the whole gun. It's a good shooter. For sure, John, it's beans and water, so basically a vegetable soup. There you go, you can't argue with that logic. I prefer BCM over Daniel Defense. I have BC Recce 16, my buddy's got a Daniel Defense, and we both like the BCM. BCM is made in Wisconsin, so that's one manufacturer I've never owned that I really do want. I don't know, haven't bought one yet. I buy other shit. Best thing I can recommend is just building an AR piece by piece. Yeah, I think everybody's done that. I've built plenty, and I shouldn't even say built, I've assembled plenty. There is something to be said about buying a good quality AR. There's, you know, the performance on a budget is a great way to go, but sometimes it is cool just to buy the factory produced rifle, and then you pull half the shit off of it anyway. Hey guys, I gotta go. Have a great night. All right, Arizona Kid, you have a good one. We'll catch you another time. That's what I'm doing when I get the carry. Perfect. I'm going to have to look into BCM more than, yeah, BCM is made in Wisconsin, so I think most people, if they have the opportunity to buy something from their state, they will. There's another company made in Wisconsin. If Gage was here, he'd know, but it's like a pretty decent company, but I never even heard of them until some guy in a chat told me about it. I would love to tell you what it is, but I can't. I don't remember. I know he remembers because he screenshotted it. 223 DMR, I'm doing good. How are you doing? I want to build a 300 Blackout next, or buy one starting with BCM upper. What length barrel is best for suppression, 7 or 9? So the shorter barrel you go, the harder it is on a can. I mean, you're running it suppressed, and you're going to rub subsonic, so it's whatever you want. You know, you want to go something a little shorter or a little longer. You know, if you're building a 7-inch AR, it's because you want it short. So, all the pistol lengths on 300 Blackout, most of the manufacturers, they all use a pistol length gas system, so 7 or 9 inch doesn't make much of a difference. Honestly, the 7 inch may even be a little easier to suppress because you're going to have less velocity, but it will be harder on a can. Diamondback, Wisconsin's, Henry's 100% Wisconsin now. They moved all their production facilities up to Rice Lake. We're supposed to be going on a tour with them, and we've both changed the date a couple times. But I'm gonna try to get there yet this summer. And we talked to them, and I mean there was still snow on the ground. I'm gonna go 8.5 inch barrel that will burn the can a lot more. The shorter the barrel, the harder on a suppressor it is. So you gotta understand, right? What are you suppressing? You're suppressing the muzzle gases, right? So the shorter it is, the more gas you have that's unburnt. It is harder on them. Didn't know shorter barrel was harder. And you're not talking like it's gonna be drastically different, but it is harder. There's even suppressors, and don't quote me on which ones, but there is suppressors that say not for less than this length barrel. And we're talking 300 or 223 or 762 by 39. So when you do come time to buy a can, just read it. Read the manual. Read what their website says. We shot at GunCon. We shot the 338 Creedmoor. That was a pretty interesting cartridge. The camo gun, it is a Glock. It's in disguise though. It's having a identity crisis. It's a Glock, but it identifies as a Canic. Not really. Depending on which one you get, you know. Not all suppressors are the same. If you're gonna spend the money on a suppressor and you want to shoot it a lot, buy one that's full auto rated. If you buy a normal suppressor, I don't know. They're not all created equal. The full auto rated cans generally last a lot longer. However, they don't do quite as good of a job with sound suppression. But it's still a suppressor, right? I wish Orange Smoke was here because he probably knows a lot more about suppressors than I do. Remember to tell your camouflage Glock that you accept him. It's not a him. Don't assume, okay? That's not a thing anymore. We can't assume gender. That's inappropriate, sir. If he wants to identify as a Canic, no matter what happens. I'm not smart. I just play an inner tube expert. I am. What did somebody call me? A self-proclaimed gun expert. You know, honestly, too, something that everybody should think about right now when you're considering buying a suppressor. People aren't going to be buying screw-on suppressors for much longer. When you can go to the store and it doesn't cost you any more money to get an SBR and a suppressor, even though it's two separate stamps, what people are going to start buying and what the first it'll be aftermarket, and then it'll soonly become or rapidly become manufacturers. It's all going to be internally suppressed. Your barrel will be the suppressor. They'll come that way. So you're not going to be screwing cans on the end of your gun. You're going to have, maybe a 10-inch barrel, but it's going to be internally suppressed. Maybe you never thought about it, but take a second now. Why would you buy a can to screw onto a gun when you can have a short barrel or even a 16-inch barrel that's all internally suppressed. That's the way to go. Daniel, how are you doing? Yeah, basically like a VSS. Um, there's companies that do it now. The H&K SD, right? Um, yeah, that's honestly the way to go. So the cans will be there for a little bit, but I guarantee that by January 1st, there's going to be factory Rugers that are coming with internally suppressed guns, or maybe not a factory Ruger. These aftermarket companies that are already making the Bear Creek Arsenal, I'll bet you they'll have an internally suppressed fire. Probably get an LVPO for Recce 16 and swap the EOTech to the. So I don't know. J-Dog, what's going on? How are you doing? I've been looking for some Rimfire suppressors to start. Should I wait for all the court stuff to blow over? I don't know about waiting for the court stuff to blow over, but you might as well wait for the tax to go away. You know, save yourself $200. You can buy a 22 can for 150, 250-ish. Then you add the tax stamp. Why now you're into something for 4.5. Less than 6 months from now, you can take that full 4.5 and put it on something. Buy an aftermarket barrel or a Bear Creek Arsenal 1022 clone. Okay, hey, well, Arsenal. Okay. Is a solo fish laser beam a flashlight a good? I have never heard of a solar fish laser beam, so I don't know. I'm doing good, man. Anything big with you? I assume that you can do live again. What do you think of BCA? I have an upper and it works, but don't know much about them. I don't know a lot about them either. They're a budget type thing. Some of their stuff seems to work, some of it doesn't. We have one AR-9 barrel that's a BCM, or a Bear Creek Arsenal, sorry, BCA, and I think I have one upper around here somewhere that was on an M16, just because it was cheap. I didn't, you know what I mean? I think I bought the whole thing with a bolt carrier for like 200 cheeseburgers or something. It wasn't much, and we smoked it, but it did work. Well, bye. Have a great day. All right, Daniel. See you later, man. You have a great day too. Marwan said hi. How are you doing? So a lot of these companies, the reason they're on the affordable side of things is because the quality control isn't there, and it's not there because you're not paying a lot. So if you're not paying a lot and you want to just get into something, it's all right, As long as the stuff has good warranties. That's the thing with like a High Point. Everybody dogs on High Point, but they have no questions asked. Doesn't matter what you do to the gun. You send it in, they replace it. They repair it, and they send you an extra magazine with the gun. So if you have a High Point, you want an extra magazine, take the gun apart, send it back. They'll send it back to you, and they'll give you a free magazine. Yeah, I think Bear Creek Arsenal falls into them things that if you had like a forced reset trigger or a bump stock, then it absolutely makes sense to buy that, because you're just going to smoke the barrel on it anyway. Why not buy a cheap upper and destroy that? Save your nice AR, Buying your first Staccato this weekend. Right on. Which one are you getting? I used XC. There you go. Yeah, you're not going to hurt it. You start doing mag dump after mag dump, you'll cook out the gas tube and it'll quit running. I mean, you're not going to hurt it. Just understand it's not a machine gun and it's not designed for extended rates of fire. You know, it doesn't even look like it's been fired 37. That's fair. That's a very fair price. A lot of the guys that bought Staccatos, they bought them because it's like a status symbol, right? It's like buying a Rolex, you know? The guys who, and I'm not saying all of them because a lot of them do run them, but a lot of the guys, they buy it just because they want to fit in, right? Everybody's hanging out talking about this gun, that gun, and they want to come swing their little 2-inch dick and be like, I got a Staccato. About how many times, you know, how many rounds you got through it? Well, I don't ever shoot it. So, here at 5 o'clock, I'm going to shut this off. I don't know if any of you guys, if Ammo's at a match, so he's done doing his live today. J-Dog, you gonna do a live? If you are, y'all should jump over on J-Dog's live. If not, go to my videos, put likes on it. Mason, Brookside Farms has a channel. You guys should check his channel out. John Wanks, D-Dog Tactical, Daniel, man, just about everybody that comes in the comments that's been here and engaging in the conversation, all has content. They all make stuff. So try to support one another. You know, that's the only way any of us are going to win. You know, YouTube and the liberals in general are trying to suppress content. They're trying to suppress people that are pro firearms, and they're trying to promote people that are negatively using it. You know, pushes their agenda. So when there's good people doing good stuff with their firearms, then support that. If not me, somebody else, right? So that's important. You know, can't ever forget that we are in a fight. It is a battle. You know, don't ever give up. So enjoy what you do. Do it safely. Remember when you're videotaping yourself shooting that you are an ambassador to the 2A. So if you're doing something stupid and reckless and you're putting it out there to share, that just makes you look like an asshole. Orange Smoke, what's going on? I'm actually about to shut this off. You're late to the show, sir. But how'd work go? Do you survive? You get any food yet? Chanson, what's going on, man? So we'll give it a second here. See what's going on. John, I appreciate you, man. I really do. So, you know, it's a good thing too. And we all have people that we know that are maybe plus or minus on firearms. If you have an opportunity to take somebody out and take them shooting for the first time, don't give them a 50 cal Desert Eagle. Give them something to have fun with. Give them a Rimfire. Shoot some steel targets. Turn the guy into a 2-8 guy. You know, it's awesome. You know. Yeah, for now, everybody else, give Chanson another month, and he'll have a Barrett, I'm sure. But all right, gentlemen, I appreciate you all hanging out with me. Joe Kennedy, how are you doing? Subscribe to the channel. Catch me on the next live. But I appreciate all you coming in here. I appreciate all of you hanging out, taking the time out of your day to hang out with me. That's solid. I appreciate it. So thank you very much, and I'll catch all of you another time. All right? You have a good night.